Okay, what if finding your soulmate wasn't just about fate? What if it was about code? Today, we're diving into Daastaane Ishq, this incredible story that mashes up ancient spirituality with some seriously futuristic tech. And honestly, it tackles a question that might just change how you think about love forever. Daastaane Ishq really just throws this huge question at us, right? It's trying to reimagine what a soulmate could be in our modern world. Could science actually do what destiny hasn't? So let's meet the two people who find themselves at the very heart of this extraordinary idea. We're going to start with our two protagonists. They're living these parallel lives, but you could really only describe them as being trapped in these golden cages, all while being haunted by these echoes of ancient wisdom. So, on one side of the story, you've got Arjun Sehgal over in Mumbai. He's the heir to this massive tech empire. Super smart, but he thinks relationships are basically just power plays, like a business deal. Then, all the way over in New York, there's Pari Khanna. She's a famous artist, but she's just as cynical about love, and you can't really blame her after watching her parents' totally transactional marriage. They're both stuck, really, trapped by family, wealth, and what's expected of them. But here's the thing. For all his modern skepticism, Arjun can't shake the words of his grandmother. This concept of an Arthangini, the other half of your soul. It's this idea that just sticks with him. It's like a little piece of ancient spirituality floating around in his world of cold hard data. And thousands of miles away, Pari is being guided by something incredibly similar from her great-grandmother. She's searching for her Atma Milan, her soul's companion. She's got this deep belief that a true connection has to exist on a level that's way beyond the physical world her parents are so obsessed with. So you've got these two isolated, cynical people, right? Both secretly just dying for a real connection that they're convinced is impossible. And their story doesn't start with some cute coffee shop meetup. Nope. It begins with a high-stakes public debate and a revolutionary piece of technology. Now, the tech that's at the absolute core of this story is something called a brain-computer interface, or a BCI. Basically, what it does is it lets two different minds sync up their brainwaves. And when they do that, they can connect in this shared, dreamlike virtual space that's built entirely out of their own subconscious thoughts and memories. Pretty wild stuff. All right, so how does this whole thing even start? Well, it all kicks off with this big public debate. Is love just code, or is it consciousness? That debate leads to a bet, a pretty wild one. Can this new BCI tech actually create a real connection between two people who are famous for being, well, unreachable? And guess who they pick as their test subjects? Yep, Arjun and Pari, without either of them having a clue. So what actually happens when their minds connect for the first time? As you're about to see, what goes down in this digital space is way more profound than any of the scientists could have possibly imagined. Their minds don't just meet in some, boring virtual room. They literally create a shared dreamscape, this gorgeous temple that's also an art gallery. It's a perfect mix of Arjun's logical mind and Pari's artistic soul. It's this truly sacred space built from the deepest parts of who they both are. And in this place, they don't even need words. There's this instant, intuitive connection. The story describes it as a feeling of recognizing each other, as if they've known one another for lifetimes. This is so much more than a digital meeting. It's like a spiritual reunion. And here it is. This is the moment their connection crosses over from the dream world into something real, something tangible. Inside this shared consciousness, he gives her his family's ancestral locket, and she gives him a bracelet she designed herself. It's this beautiful, symbolic exchange of their very essence. But what happens when the dream is over? The next morning, everything changes. That one night completely shatters and then reshapes their entire waking lives. Okay, this is where your mind is going to be blown. Arjun wakes up, and the bracelet from his dream, it's on his wrist. For real. And Pari, she wakes up wearing a silver locket she has never seen before. The proof is right there, totally tangible, but it makes no sense. And on top of that, they both feel this deep, aching longing, like a piece of them is just gone. Of course, their families, they just think they're stressed out and hallucinating. Arjun just sinks into this deep, deep sadness. And his father, who's a guy that solves every problem with money, does the only thing he knows how to do. He offers a 10 crore rupee reward, we're talking over $1 million US, for any information at all about the woman from his son's so-called dream. And just like that, the real world starts pushing back against them, and it pushes back hard. Their families are trying to force them back into their old lives, some jealous exes are actively trying to sabotage them, and there's even a rival company trying to hack the BCI tech to plant fake memories. I mean, the forces trying to keep them apart are just enormous. But that connection they made, it's stronger than any of those obstacles. This unexplainable pull is so strong that both Arjun and Pari start this desperate, global search for a person they've never even met in real life. And that search, it finally leads them both to London. And here it is, the moment it all comes together. Arjun walks into an art gallery, and he just stops. He sees a sculpture that Pari created, and it's a perfect physical replica of the digital temple where their souls first connected. And right there, standing in front of it, is Pari herself. You know, their first words to each other aren't, "Hi, my name is." They speak in ancient Sanskrit. He whispers, "All of this is indeed Brahman," which means like the divine ground of all being. And she replies, "Thou art that." It's this incredibly profound moment of recognition, like they're acknowledging the divine in each other from a memory that's older than this lifetime. And the proof of their connection, it ends up being totally undeniable, satisfying both the scientist in Arjun and the mystic in Pari. Brain scans literally confirm their neural patterns are entangled. They mirror each other's emotional states, no matter how far apart they are. Then they look into their family histories and discover their ancestors were supposed to be married 7 generations ago. It's like the universe is finally completing an ancient, interrupted pattern. But their story doesn't just end with them finding each other and living happily ever after. This whole insane experience gives them a much bigger purpose. They decide to create a foundation that uses this BCI technology ethically to help other people heal from trauma through deep, shared understanding and connection. And that really brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? This story started with technology creating a connection, but it ended up revealing a bond that, well, maybe it was always there, just waiting for the right key to unlock it. It really makes you wonder, in our own super connected but often really lonely world, what other profound connections are out there, just waiting to be discovered?